Alright, the distance and the midpoint formulas. You should be familiar with these from your geometry. The distance formula, you'll subtract the x's and square it, subtract the y's and square it, add that together and take the square root. If you're finding the distance, you're just finding the measurement, so the answer is a number. The midpoint formula, you add the x's and divide by 2, add the y's and divide by 2. This is a point. It's the halfway point between 2 points. So this answer is a number. This one is a point. That's a big mistake people make. All right, so some basic examples. The distance between a point A and point B. So we go distance is equal to the square root of x minus x. So 4 minus -3 squared plus -7 minus 2 squared. So if you do the 4 first in this parenthesis, you have to use the -7 first in this parenthesis. Change those to positives and plus negative. So that's the square root of 7 squared plus -9 squared. That would be 49 plus 81. That would be the square root of 130. Then you have to see if you can break that down. So you're going to grab your calculator and see if you can break down the square root of 130. Without a calculator, you're thinking, well, what goes into 130? Does 4 go in there? Not evenly. 16 go in there? Not sure. So you would, if 4 doesn't, 16 won't. 25 doesn't go in there evenly. And so I'm going to say that it cannot be broken down, so the distance is simply the square root of 130, which is just a decimal number. Alright, using the midpoint formula between these 2 points, we add the x's, so 4 plus -2 divided by 2, and -7 plus 5 divided by 2. That would be 2 over 2. And this would be -2 over 2. So the answer is 1, -1. The answer is a point because you're looking for the midpoint. Now they'll put these same problems into a little bit trickier problem, so a little geometry review. Find the length of the radius of a circle with diameter endpoints at -2, 5, and 3, -7. So we have a circle. There's the center. We have a point -2, 5, and the diameter endpoint of 3, -7. They want to know the length of the radius. So we could find the length of the diameter. And then divide it by 2, and that would give us the radius. Some other people would say, well, can't you find this midpoint and then do the distance formula here? You certainly can. You can do it either way. I'm going to do it this way. Find the length of the diameter. So the diameter is equal to the square root of -2 minus 3 squared plus 5 minus -7 squared. That's going to be -5 squared plus 35 squared. That's the square root of 25 plus, and you have to use your calculator to figure out 35 squared. $35 squared is 1,225. Add 25 to that and you get 1,250. Now if you get to use your calculator, your program that does your radicals will be really handy for these. So if you put the 1250 into the radical program, you get 25 root 2. So that's the whole diameter. This distance is 25 root 2. So the radius would equal 25 root 2 divided by 2, or 12 and a half root 2. Number 4, find the midpoint between the points 1/2, 3, and -1/4, 1/2. Again, calculator will be quite handy. Our midpoint formula is to add and divide by 2. So 1/2 plus -1/4 divided by 2, and 3 plus 1/2 divided by 2. So I would just use the calculator. And you get 1/8 and 1 3/4 for your midpoint. Find the coordinates of the center of a circle given the diameter endpoints. So again, you might want to draw a picture. Put your endpoints on there, and you can put your diameter wherever you want. They want to know what the center is. Well, that would be the midpoint. So this is just telling you to use the midpoint formula. So 5 plus -3 over 2, and 7 plus 5 over 2, 2 over 2, and 12 over 2. So the midpoint must be 1, 6. So it might help if you draw pictures. And the last one, find the other endpoint of a segment if they give you the midpoint. So we've got the midpoint is -2, 4, and one of the ends is -3, 6, and what you don't know is this end, so we'll just call it xy. Well, our midpoint formula tells us that if you take the endpoints and add them and divide them by 2, you'll get this answer. So x plus -3 divided by 2 gave us the answer of -2. And over here, y plus 6 divided by 2 gave us the answer of 4. So we want to know, how do you find this value of x and how do you find this value of y? We'll just solve these little equations. Multiply both sides by 2, add 3, so x must be -1. Multiply both sides by 2 and get 8, subtract 6 and get 2. So this point must be -1, 2. Now I would encourage you to check that to make sure that this is the right midpoint. So if we were going to check this, we would say -1 plus -3 over 2, and 2 plus 6 over 2. That's -4 over 2, and 8 over 2. That's -2 and 4. -2 and 4. So that checks